Only authorized Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Monday, the 9th day of January 2023. Right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious on the roads. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. If you are operating a larger vehicle than others, don't feel that because of your size that you can bully them off the road or force them out of lanes. You have to observe the rules of the road. By so doing, then maybe the life you save may just be your own, but you certainly would also be protecting the lives of those other road users as well. So we urge you, please be extremely cautious. We're also imploring the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, if we can have more of a presence on our roads, doesn't necessarily have to be after the liquor licenses establishments have closed in the late hours of the night or in the early hours of the morning, but also the 6 o'clock, the 5:30s, the 6 o'clock, the 6:30s, when people are heading to work. Those are the times that those lone rangers, the speeders, get out there and they're cutting drivers off, switching lanes and putting everyone at risk. So we're urging you, please observe the rules of the road. The life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday and to remind you that the birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by your life insurance agent, Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and he reminds you, don't take chances with your family's future. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. We also want to send special condolences out to the family of Miss Josie Solomon. We want to mention her by name because she is an iconic figure in the Cayman Islands, especially in the field of nursing. Those days when we had just maybe a handful or half a dozen nurses at our hospital, and even when with the expansion of the hospital as well. And she has received many awards, and I will do some research to share some of those with you during the course of the week as well. I also want to extend sincere condolences to Miss Charlene Pert, her brother, and all of the rest of the family, and the passing, of Miss Beauty, as well. So, again, we're seeing more and more of our generational Caymanians being lost, and they will certainly be missed by all as well. For those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we also wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. And we know, yes, it has been quite a while since the 16th of December. That was the last of 2022. That was the last show on For the Record, and I'm certainly happy to be back as well. And as you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman. It is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Again, that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We are also on Facebook as well. And just to mention that toll-free number, Miss Susan, I believe that I've been hearing on Sterling's show some persons calling up about the toll-free number that has been provided courtesy of Flo, and I think that phrase courtesy of Flo should be borne in mind as well, because it is a courtesy that has been extended. It isn't a service that we pay for. That does not necessarily mean that it should not still be functioning the way that it should, and management here at Radio Cayman, they are working on that as well. So we hope to get that sorted out. Again, to remind you that this portion of For the Record, our birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and he reminds you, don't take chances with your family's future. So one of the birthdays that we see on Facebook being celebrated today is Sandy Whitaker, and we want to wish Sandy a happy birthday. Also, Brenda NDC, not sure who that is, but that's on here. And I also want to extend belated birthday greetings to, in our world, the cycling world, we refer to him as Marlon the cyclist, or Christian. He celebrated a birthday on Friday, so we want to wish Marlon a belated happy birthday as well. And we know that he is while he's a huge fan of motor car racing, he is also a huge fan of cycling and is out there early in the mornings with us as well. So belated happy birthday to you, Marlon, as well. So before we go to our commercial break, I want to welcome Minister J. Ebanks in the studio with us. As you know, Minister J. Ebanks has constitutional responsibility for planning, agriculture, housing, and infrastructure in the Cayman Islands, and he is my first guest for the year 2022 here on For the Record. Minister, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record, and happy prosperous and productive 2023 to you, Minister.
Good morning, OC. Thank you so much for having me here on your first radio show with you. Feel like a groundbreaking year to be on here with you. Good morning, Grand Cayman, Cayman Bright, Little Cayman. Hope everybody is having a great start to the new year. We look forward to doing a lot more things in this year here, especially coming from the infrastructure side of planning and agriculture and everything else that's under the watch of Mike Care Watch. Mm-hmm. So, see, one of the things, it was a pretty good Christmas for me. Got a lot of rest that I needed, so I'm energized. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to hit the road running. So that's why I really wanted to get back on your show and get things moving. To let my team know, that we have a lot of things planned for this year that we are ready to roll out. And we're gonna put in the extra work this year, more than what we did last year, to get things going. So a lot of stuff that we talked about at the very end of last year is almost ready to start to get moving now. And so we should be seeing a lot of more moving and getting more works done on our Linford piercing, speeding up and getting moving. I do thank the government and the opposition, all of those that supported NRA with the extra funding that they needed, and they're letting the last minute there to hire more staff and get some of our staff off of the temporary that they were on for so many years. So I know that was a great Christmas gift to a lot of the staff that were on temps over there, because they now know that they have a solid future within NRA versus of what they had before. So it was a great thing. I know a lot of those guys that were on that really called and said thank you, and thanked the support of the government for that, and also the support came from the opposition too. With that, it was a great thing for them.
Excellent.
So it made their Christmas just that much better for them, knowing that they have a steady job for the new year.
Okay. What I'd like you to do when we return from the commercial break, is to speak to some of the accomplishments that you were able to achieve in 2022. Mention, to enumerate, to list some of those, and then talk about what it is that you want to achieve in 2023, whether it is the continuation of some of those projects or any new projects that may be on track. As well. So folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. When we return, the conversation with Minister J. Ebanks will continue.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
While the Cayman Islands has long been a maritime abode, it was under Commissioner Alan Cardinal that the pastime of yachting or sailing would come to pass. Commissioner Cardinal started his post in the Cayman Islands on February 14, 1934. In January 1935, the first Cayman Islands Regatta was held in Georgetown, with boats participating from Cayman Brac. Commissioner Cardinal had foreseen that the islands were capable of showcasing their excellent shipbuilding and sailing talents in organized competition. As a means to attract international investors, with the assistance of one Edmund S. Parsons and Lieutenant Colonel B.P. Dobson, Commissioner Cardinal would form the Cayman Islands Yacht Club. In a sign of genius, the Yacht Club was also used to reform the local Boy Scouts, but as Sea Scouts serving in Georgetown and West Bay. By 1937, the Cayman Islands Yacht Club boasted 134 members, with 150 Boy Scouts and Cubs.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
60 and bossy with J and money. Win a trip, it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. A instant entry. Look how you're lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Teen, bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy. We well proudie.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for two to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J&M Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J&M bank account required.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
They say you only live once. I say you only die once, but you live every day. I'm Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, longtime supporter of Radio Cayman. Live your life, my friends. Happiness is in the journey, not the destination. When you're ready, I'm here to support you with the best financial decisions for your family's future. Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future. I'm Michael Webster, the sure way to protect your family. Call me when you're ready at 925-5433. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets.
Think life insurance.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me the first show on For the Record for the year 2023, Minister J. Ebanks. Before I throw the mic back over to him, we have noted that the District of Bordentown over the past few days, the weekend, that district has lost several of its constituents, including Miss Lucille Berry as well, and we want to extend our sincere condolences to the family of the late Miss Lucille Berry. Also, one more birthday shout out to give. Johanna Williams celebrated a birthday yesterday, so we want to wish Johanna Williams a belated happy birthday as well. And just to say, there are many, many, many birthdays in the month of January and the month of February as well. My good friend Alan Moore, celebrates a birthday in January as well. And then we have a whole string of friends who celebrate their birthdays in February also. Minister, back over to you, sir. So we want to talk about some of the accomplishments for last year, and if those have been unfinished and carry on over to this year, talk about what the plans are for those as well, and any new plans for this year.
All right, thank you, OC. Let me start off with in housing, because that's such a critical topic to everybody.
Yes.
just to let everybody know that housing is actually moving pretty good. We've, broke ground in West Bay at the Lighthouse site just before December there, and we're starting of 19 homes, getting ready to build 19 homes there. We are looking at the Apple Blossom site right now, which I should have a paper to be going to caucus and cabinet very shortly this week, or maybe next week, to get that site started and moving. We have the north side site that is actually, the infrastructure has actually is almost there. I've been told by NRA, because they have been the one that's been doing the road infrastructure there, that by the end of February that the road work should be completed there.
Yeah, when I crossed there yesterday, cycling, you could see the clearing, continuing again, and the heavy equipment is right there by the
yes,
gate.
Yes, sir. So most of
moving along.
The water piping, all of the water ducting has been put in now. I think there's one lane left for the water to just go into. So all of the drain wells have been installed in there, and so they're moving quite swiftly there. I must thank the team of NRA for moving as fast as they are out down there and getting that done. So that, they know that we just definitely want to start this, be building at least, I would say at least by the 1st of March, start to at least doing our first homes in the north side, if everything goes well. We're looking at getting a design work done for the site in central Georgetown here at the old Cox site, I would say, down there, and how we're going to go from there. There should be an RFP going out very shortly with that. I think what we're going to do is try to get some outsourcing for that one site there, and then because we want to, this year we want to go into a high number of housing buildings. So this year is really building a lot of the homes. Most of the infrastructure work has been completed in all of the sites already. The Apple Blossom site, the design work that we have for it, that's basically ready to go. It's we've designed it enough that it's we don't have to really redo the infrastructure that is there. It's just a matter of getting the parcel numbers down for there, and then that whole site will be able to roll out with building. It's already filled, it's prepped, ready to go. So it's a very easy site to get going now.
Now we know that government is doing their part, like you pointed out, the various sites. The affordable housing that the private sector is doing, that word affordable is becoming more of a misnomer now, because when you see houses in the range of $500,000 or close to $500,000, how do we address that issue? Yes, we can acknowledge the fact that the cost of materials has gone up exponentially. When you look at, I keep hearing now that plywood is starting to go down a bit, but all construction material in general, the costs have gone so high that yes, you can understand that the price of homes have gone up, but not only the price, but the quality of some of these homes, whether or not there's sufficient quality control, because there are several people who have purchased those affordable homes through the private sector and are having issues with them. How can we improve on that?
Well, see, you're absolutely right. I mean, the building costs for homes have gone up significantly, and the price of material has risen. I mean, even right down to the price of paint. I was buying paint over the holidays, and I realized how expensive it's gotten compared to what it was last 2 years ago. So yeah, all of that is going to be a factor, and then not only that, but also the price of land and the price of filling material also is what's driving that factor of the cost of housing. It is something that we need to look at. I do have a few solutions for that. I won't throw them all out today because I don't want to put the government under in the bus or the people hold them accountable. But there was something that we were looking at from in December. We were looking at with some of the smaller developers already that were in there, those that were actually picking up from the affordable side of housing that they're saying, and we were coming up with solutions on how we think they could actually bring the cost of housing down, because what we're telling them is that we know realistically they can't compete with what we build housing because of we subsidize so much into it. But I do think that we can actually work together and try to get the costs down for some of the housing that is happening there. And I'm hoping with I would say if we get back on the ball rolling very quickly, by the end of this month here, we should be able to start to throw a few solutions on the radio shows and have the people feedback from them on what we've talked to with some of the developers on that, going from there. But it is a task that we need to look at. It is a big one. It affects everybody, and it's something that the government really needs to take on board. And I do know that the deputy premier has always been working with me with that to try to see how we can come up with the best solutions, and especially from anything from his side of how we can lower that cost. So I would say there's something in the pipeline that will be coming down very shortly to talk about with that. So I must just say, housing is from our housing aspect side, everything is moving pretty good. So we should be rolling out a lot of homes. I'm not going to throw a number out there, but I'm hoping that we can roll a high number of homes this year, because it's just this is what I call the building year now, because since all of that has all been completed. So, and I must go back to the team of NRA. They have done an awesome job for the last year. I mean, they have been working very hard. They've been doing great work. So there's, it's just a matter of them getting back on now and getting going and completing a lot of our works. We've the ACR is something that we're jumping back on and getting that going to try to get that completed. We got all the culverts in that we had to get done. So we want to, if I don't know if you've ever been down there, but you notice that we've started both sides of it now, where we've started from the back of their side, started to push it in, and then we've come around from the side over by Kimana Bay, which actually took where a lot of the stops actually happened, because of where the culverts had to be was on that side more or less. So we're actually going to be moving back on that very shortly this month here, getting that going. And once we get on that, the commitment is to try to just get in there and complete it one time and get out of there.
Now, Minister, we're going to our 8 o'clock news, but when we return, I'm sure that there are listeners who have an interest in the affordable housing, and we want to talk about what the application process is like while the construction is taking place, whether or not people have to wait for construction to be completed before they can submit applications, or how that process works as well.
Absolutely.
Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
At Foster's, you'll always find the biggest specials on the products you love.
Just like Vita Coco Coconut Water 1 liter, only $4.19, save $2. 4-pack Ensure Max Protein Nutrition Shake, $9.99, save $4.90. And Aunt Jackie's Hair Care 15 ounce, only $5.79, save $3.
You'll find even more great specials in-store or online with Foster's Go. Foster's, better prices because we care.
Prices good until 11th January 2023.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Inspectors reviewed the quality of education at Footsteps in Georgetown Primary in the first half of the academic year. The team at the Office of Education Standards judged Georgetown Primary as satisfactory. Attainment in the 3 core subjects, English, Math, and Science, by the end of Year 6 was judged weak and below international standards. Teaching and learning were satisfactory overall, but there was, quote, significant variation from year to year and class to class. The OES report says the curriculum followed the requirements of the national curriculum with a focus on the core subjects and was generally balanced and broad. In reception, the early years curriculum was used, but there was, quote, insufficient opportunities for those children to learn through exploration and play outside. The report says some students with special education needs were well supported, but that was not the case for all. Leadership was judged satisfactory. The leadership team reportedly addressed the recommendations in the previous inspection to some extent, but there, quote, remained issues around consistency in the quality of teaching and using assessment to meet the needs of different groups of students. Footsteps, meanwhile, was judged to be a good school with some excellent features. While attainment in math and science were satisfactory, progress was good. In English, attainment was good and progress excellent. Students' behavior and their attitudes toward their work were judged to be excellent. Teaching was consistently good, and teachers provided, quote, engaging, interesting, and motivating lessons and activities. Assessment was good and was used to check individual student progress and to set work at an appropriate level. The report says the self-evaluation process assessed the school's effectiveness, and the strategic plans ensured that most recommendations from the previous inspection back in 2020 were met. You can find both reports for Georgetown Primary and Footsteps online at oes.gov.ky. And one of the Caribbean's most celebrated culinary festivals is making its triumphant return this week in Grand Cayman. Cayman Cookout, the Eric Repair-hosted gastronomic experience at the Ritz-Carlton, is back for the first time since the onset of the pandemic, running all this week. Caribbean Journal reports that this year's lineup includes Cayman Cookout veterans like Repair and Jose Andres, along with stars like Adrian Chetham, Antonio Bacor, Emeril Lagasse, and Daniel Bullard, among others. The schedule includes things like a bourbon dinner with the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection to a taste of Little Spain right on the beach. It's a, quote, unique, intimate festival where attendees can meet and mingle up close with some of the biggest stars in the culinary world. More information on this week's events can be found at CaymanCookout.com.
BBC News with Emily Thomas.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We need to talk. Okay. We've noticed you've been going to KFC a lot more than usual lately. And
that's fine. We know you love it.
We just don't understand how you can afford it.
The KFC What a Deal menu starting at just $3.50 gives you lots of great choices and value. Available at KFC Baytown Plaza, Shudden Road, and in the Strand. The KFC What a Deal value menu. The deal everyone should know about. Come to KFC and enjoy a variety of tasty choices at surprising prices.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Good morning. Let's take a look now at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 86%. The barometric pressure is 30.03 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 5 knots. Overnight low temperature was 74 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate winds and seas expected over the Cayman area as a high-pressure system moves over the southeast United States. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the mid-80s today. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of nighttime showers, and temperatures dipping to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be northeasterly 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet for tonight. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 11:28, low tide this evening at 5:44, and a high tide again tonight at 2 minutes past 11. The sun will set this evening at 3 minutes after 6 and will rise tomorrow morning at 2 minutes after 7. And the outlook is calling for light to moderate winds and seas through tomorrow evening, with a slight increase in winds and seas expected through Wednesday evening. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Your radio
Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Traffic is busy heading to Georgetown on Crew Road, and busy traffic coming off of Agnes Way off the Linford Pearson Highway, and steady traffic off of Bobby Thompson Way. And traffic is moving on steadily off the Esterly Tibbetts Highway and continuing on to North Sound Road. West Bay 4-way stop flowing moderately. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. And eastbound traffic on Crew Road is light to moderate, and busy traffic heading to Georgetown on Crew Road. Edward Street, not looking too bad as traffic flowing nicely, and moderate flow of traffic on Shedden Road. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic is flowing at a good pace. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist, or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price, and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Minister J. Ebanks. And just to remind you that Minister J will be with us until 9 o'clock. He has another commitment at 9 o'clock, so he will only be here with us until 9. If you have any questions or comments, you can call in, or if you so wish, you can WhatsApp us 925-3261, or you can email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord, at candw.ky. So, Minister, I know that you want to make an announcement in terms of the NICE program, early because of some misconceptions that may have taken place, and then we're going to talk about the application process for the affordable housing.
Yeah, well, see, thank you. Again, there's been some kind of a misconception of the spreading of the rumor that the NICE program was going to be starting back today. And unfortunately, it isn't going to be starting today. The reason that one of the reasons that we didn't want to start it back today was because of, we knew that we had staff just returning back from the Christmas holidays. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to make sure that we had enough people there that could man it and get it going, and so we decided to push it to Wednesday. So to start it, for those that have been pre-registered already, are going to be able to start on Wednesday. Any new registrations from there will have to, those will be vetted and be able to start on Monday. So I just want to pass that information on, that so the confusion will be aired out from there. But I'm sorry for anybody that attended certain areas today that went out there thinking that it was going to be started today. It was just a matter of we just want to make sure we have all the man to resource the program as we go along.
Certainly, yeah.
So hopefully that clarifies some of the texts that I'm getting out there with it about
excellent,
it. So.
Excellent.
But just to go back to our topic we were talking about with the housing, I know you left off about applications and everybody can go down to the housing trust office and fill out an application form and get pre-qualified from the housing. What they do is they'll pre-qualify you there, and then once you go from there, then you can actually get to the bank. Then they'll give you a letter to go to the bank. I know a lot of people there's a list of people that are already in there, and they've been waiting to know whether they've been qualified or not. I know one of the reasons why they have actually not been submitting any letters out yet is because they've been just waiting for the infrastructure to get out and going, so that there was a long period of time for people to say, okay, well, I got my letter 8 months ago, but there's nothing has been done since that. So this year, when going now, you'll start to see a lot of people starting to get telephone calls to make sure and try to make sure that they get all their stuff up to date. That by the time the houses are finished, they're already gone through the banking system, got pre-qualified from the bank, and they're ready to go, that they can actually transition in and move into. So, that is the first part about it. But we have such a large number of people that has already sent in applications. So there's a big number for them to go through.
Yeah. Now, on the pre-qualification, with the continuous hikes in interest rates, I'm not sure if you know the details of this, but are they then affected by these interest rate changes if they have already been pre-qualified, or is there a set rate of interest that...
Well, what we do, when we pre-qualify, then what we do is we go through basically all of the checks and balances from the housing side to make sure that they can qualify from there. And what the Deputy Premier has done is he's worked a lot along with the Development Bank to try to see if we can get a lot of these going into there. And one good thing is that one of my 9 o'clock meetings today is with him is to have conversations with the bank again today on some of these housings for funding. So we'll be able to get you a better update on a lot more coming from the bank's side of it on how they're going to, how the financing will be followed out from them, because this is the year that everybody's going to be needing to go to the banks and get going. So, but I can tell you that the CIDB is actually working along with housing, and they're doing a great rate, and I don't recall what the rate is off the top of my head right now, but there's and I they were actually looking at doing 100% financing down there also.
Okay, thanks for that information as well.
So, just one of the big things that I think that we've actually been able to get done this year that has been coming for so long, and a lot of people have been asking me about it, was the farmland in East End, and I must say that I do thank my team and. Mr. Jason Azan that has been working on that policy paper, and it's along with some of the people from Lands and Survey, and I've been told that paper is actually ready to go, so we should be carrying that to Cabinet very shortly, and then we can start to work on getting this farmland in East End out to the farmers now as we go along. So it's that is a great accomplishment, and I know, talking to farmers, they said, man, they've been trying to get that done for several years, and it's something that I've actually been pushing to get going. So we're almost there. We're almost at the goal post with that right now. So I'm happy to get that started in the new year for the farmers coming out. And I know, there's been a few hiccups. A lot of if you want us to go into agriculture, then
sure, yes.
So a lot of people have been. There's been a few complaints on our purchasing orders and stuff of thing for agriculture and our feed, and if we're running short of certain things and products. But one of the things that really caused that last year was because of the hurricane damage that went through Florida. So it allowed agriculture to have to do more sourcing from different directions from where we used to get originally. But we've pretty much got that. I think that the vendor that we work with, he's pretty much got most of that sorted out. And I know he's actually on island today, so we'll be sitting and meeting with him again too. and making sure that we can get everything streamlined and for the new year and everything goes good.
Now, if I could comment on that, we've seen more and more persons, whether or not they're just backyard farmers or persons actually investing in farming and in agriculture. And it would appear to some as if the agriculture department is sort of like outgrowing itself in terms of space. We know that based on the government subsidies and everything, that the prices at the agriculture department, when compared with the prices in the private sector, they are much more favorable within the agriculture department. Hence, the demand, will be there. Now, while we realize that government really is not in the business of competing with the private sector, at the same time, you are offering a product to those persons who are engaged in it. You have the agricultural society and everything that are all involved in it. Do you foresee a further expansion of the agriculture department to be able to keep up with the demands that are being placed on it?
Thank you. That's a good question, OC, and it is something that is that we're working on right now to do a big expansion to agriculture, and it's going to be able to streamline and get agriculture back up to the demand that we have right now. We have a lot, as you said. It's been growing, and a lot of it is subsidized, so the price is actually a lot lower. And one thing with it, OC, that we found is that the space that we have, we're limited on that space now.
Yes.
We actually have a design that we're getting rid that's being designed right now, and we're hoping that in a few months that should be into planning to have to build a new facility out there and move over to another parcel that we have there that's a little bit larger, because the one parcel that we've had, we've outgrown it so much that it's been so tight now, an area that I've always worried that everybody going there and vehicles moving and equipment moving up and down, that nobody gets hurt over there because it's so tight right now. So we've looked at an expansion of what's going to happen over there, and it's I must thank the team for what they've done, the work they've done so far on getting this drawing done. It is an amazing drawing of a new facility that we look at getting into planning very shortly, and that will actually definitely help us with the space that we need and be able to get more products here and to be able to just make life a little bit more easier for the farmers, but to bring it up, the agriculture up another notch of how we deliver our products and service to our farmers to help them.
Okay. Mister, if we could go back to the housing for a second. One of our listeners was querying, and maybe you can speak to the type of oversight that the housing agency has over the purchase of homes. They have pointed out that there are some persons who are able to purchase the low-cost housing, and then they are able to rent them out, and they actually don't even move in to these homes and then put them out on the rental market. What sort of oversight is there to prevent things like that from happening, if it is so?
OC, thanks. That has been brought to my attention where in the last few months that some people have actually been out to be able to purchase a home but realize going back out and then renting it. OC, one of the things that when you look at getting a home is that it's a house that you have to be able to. It's your first time home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can only own that one property at that time. So it's very hard to try to manage it, but it'll have to be a clause that we put in there, because sometimes certain things happen to people where they may have to move out of their house because of rent, because they may have lost their job, can't afford it anymore, so they may have to go rent somewhere else while they rent out their home to carry on their mortgage for them. I understand certain situations like that, But for someone to actually just come out and purchase a home and go directly, there are a lot of criteria there, that you get before you go there. There's a certain cap that you have to be able to make, whether you fall in with that cap material being below, So we'll definitely look into it because it's something that I know the board has said that they've heard that has happened in the past. So.
Excellent. Okay.
But I'll try my best to make sure that it doesn't happen going forward, and that within the new clause that we're writing now, that for the housing, that it's actually in there to make sure that there's some protection in there for that.
Now, in addition to the bypass by CUC, we know that considerable work has been taking place with the Linford Pearson Highway and the extension there as well. Do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Yes, the Linford Highway pass has been moving really good. That was on. They are actually at the crossroad where the infrastructure is being done into that now. So you'll see where Water Authority has actually put in their piping. CUC's been moving their poles. I understand that there's a little bit more work for CUC to be done there. So usually that's the process that holds us up the longest. But once we're starting to get over that, we're going to see a lot more movement on that, and the team is actually going to be jumping right back on Linford where this week or maybe the following next week to get going, and getting that road completed and pushing it to try to get it completed as quickly as we can. It is something that we realize that is one of the areas that we have to get completed too, because it's going to relieve the traffic, and that particular road will continue going from that roundabout. We're going to move and go. That'll carry us straight up to coming up to where Burger King is in Walker's Road, and so to go down to the back there. And I'm happy that they the team is continuing to push that, and we have the Department of Environment. They have been supportive with us getting that road. They've given us their feedback of how they think that we should narrow it down to, and where we should be looking to put it through. So I do thank Miss Gina and her team too for supporting us with the Linford Pearson expansion there and moving forward with that. So one thing that one of the other ones that we're looking at too is the new road works that's going down from the CUC roundabout going past down to Lion Center and down that way. We're putting in that extra lane down through there, so that once you come around, that lane will be able to carry you straight down to go to to go to Hurley's and continuing going down. So what we're trying to do is try to get two lanes dedicated that they're moving constantly to the eastern side of the island without having to stop. So you'll have that one lane if you're going to go to Prospect, anywhere else that you can continue going, or if you want to go to Hurley's, you'll be able to go on that one. There's been a little hold up with that. I actually ran into Mr. Hugh this week about that, and we had a conversation on Saturday on it. So I know he said that one of the reasons that they haven't been able to move a lot of the poles and stuff that they need there, and that they're waiting a lot of the parts to come in. So they're hopefully shortly the products that they're waiting to come in should be here, and then they'll start to move those poles out of our way, and then we can start to continue going with that lean down that way. And then one of the other expansions that you'll notice is that we're actually putting in that turning lane off from King's Highway, from the King's gym there, and it'll actually go around the backside of that. And that is the road that will be able to continue to carry traffic around the backside of Country and Western, down to Hurley's, and then hopefully to continue going on down to Prospect and Marina Drive in those areas. So what it is it'll actually be able to bring the traffic that is on that side of the world from the Prospect Marina Drive then coming down that particular road, and not having to tie into coming out onto the main highway that is coming out, and hopefully that'll free up a lot of the traffic by the roundabout from Hurley's. And I know the team has just gotten their report done on that Hurley's roundabout on what they're going to do. I have not got a chance to see it or read it yet, so I won't speak too much to it, but I do know that there's a solution for that what they're going to be doing for that roundabout. I'm sure Mr. Howard will be speaking out to the public very shortly about it to let them know what we're going to be doing there.
Okay. Now, how crucial is the continuation of the east-west arterial to the movement of traffic, and where are we as far as the works on that is concerned?
We'll see. That is, to me, that is one of the most crucial roads to actually get done in this country. We'll see. For me to have reached to your show this morning, I had to be up from 4:30, and had to be out the door by 5:30, and I hit traffic still at Bodden Town. Although it was bumper to bumper, it was moving. It wasn't really held up as long as it was. But if I want to get into Georgetown here for 7 o'clock and to be in my office for that time, those are just the hours that we have to be able to get up in the eastern side of the island. And not only that, also, but we have to remember that we have one mean artery going down. And, if we remember back from when we were cut off, and then during emergencies, when accidents happen, the long list of traffics and the roadblocks that we have and the people can't cross the roads and stuff like that, we have to put in a second road to be able to get the people moving from and around for the eastern side of the island. So it is a crucial road. It is something that I fully support. I know the government supports it, and I've heard the opposition even speak out about it, say that they support the road, that it needs to be done. I've understand that the report has been pretty much been done, and they should be starting to have meetings very shortly. I thought, if I'm correctly, I wanted to say it was the first start of February, to have meetings in the eastern districts and in central Georgetown on the east-west highway to get this report going for us, what we needed to be able to suffice the movements of that. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly with that. NRA has told me that they've gotten everything done that they've needed from their side. Everything's back over to the Department of Environment side now, that we can actually start to move now. On this now. Excellent. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I want to continue to talk a little bit more about road infrastructure, and I want to talk a little bit about when do we reach the point where we say we're not going to build new roads per se. We're going to try to improve on the ones that we have, and then we implement policies to curtail the importation of vehicles into the island, because we continue to say that we cannot build ourselves out of the traffic situation that we find ourselves in. So at some point in time we reach that point where we say enough is enough. We're going to improve on what we have, but yes, or wetlands or agricultural lands, we need to retain them for other purposes, and we cannot continue to just cut roads through them as well. So we'd like you to address that when we return. Minister, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
Don't be caught up by the weather again. Stay in the know with Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. weather report every Monday through Friday. Proudly brought to you by the Department of Environment, reminding you to respect the marine parks and fish responsibly. Download the Cayman DOE app today.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come on, let's praise the Lord. Come on, let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise him, praise him, praise him.
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning my first guest for the year 2023, Minister J. Ebanks. And Minister, I know that you received a message earlier about the NICE program, and someone has sent WhatsApp message again about the situation, and I'm going to ask you to repeat one more time what you said earlier about the recommencement of the NICE program.
Yes, OC, thank you. For those that the NICE program will be starting back on Wednesday morning, and those are for those that have been pre-registered already that could start on Wednesday. Any new registration will have to take a few days, so they will have to be start back on Monday of next week. But for the NICE program, those that are registered right now, the program will start back Wednesday morning.
Okay, so the pre-registered?
Yeah, and I do apologize for any confusion for anybody that is out there that have actually went out to areas thinking that it was starting today. I do apologize for whoever misled them on that, but nobody should have actually have announced that it was starting today, so I don't know where that actually came from.
Mm-hmm. Now, the NICE program has been, since we're talking about it, has been going on for a few years now. Can you talk to the importance of that program to those persons who are maybe seasonally employed or may not be employed at all? They may have their own little small one-man operation going, but it helps to supplement their income as well. How important it is to those persons who participate in that program?
Well, see, there's a lot of people that may say that program is not important, but I'll tell you what, if you go out there and you talk to some of the people that are actually out there and hear their cry to you that how important this was and how this funding actually helped them get through the Christmas and help them just get what they actually needed. It is a great program for us to continue going. It gives the government a good read also to know, to be able to keep a number of how many people are in need of that, whether the numbers are going up, whether the numbers are going down when it comes to those that are needing the help, whether there are more younger generations that are actually that are applying for that program, or whether there are more or elderly that are those that have passed the retirement age and just need that little bit extra suffice of help. So it is a good gauge actually for us to continue to keep going. And not only that, it helps us get that opportunity to actually just go out and be able to clean up and beautify the islands as we all, the Caymanians, love to keep our own place as clean as possible and beautify. So it gives us a pride and sense that we know that we're out there keeping our streets clean and our roadsides clean and everything else. But it also gives the opportunity for Public Works, NRA, and those guys to identify people that are actually good workers too, that they could actually come, when they need help, that they could actually give them full employment, because there's been several people that have got full employment that have came from the nice program.
Yeah, okay. One of our listeners has written in and said that, well, they're wishing you all the best for 2023, and they go on to say that it seems that this medium is the best way to address any public matters, and I hope that the Honourable Minister, whose responsibility the Planning Department falls under, will look into and correct and ensure that similar issues will not occur in the future. He is a young man who appears to take great interest in listening to the concerns of the people and taking the necessary actions. So they go on to say that the matter pertains to the exit from Kamana Bay, nearest to the Galleria roundabout. There is only one exit lane and much time is wasted by motorists exiting. There is sufficient space that another lane could have been added, and I fail to understand why the planning department approved this. In my humble opinion, there are far too many entrances, exit access points for that establishment, and it is very unsafe when drivers are accessing from the main Kamana Bay one, but that's another story. With the high rate of motor vehicle accidents, it would be interesting to know the statistics as to how many of these occur at roundabouts. I'm pretty confident that these would be in the majority. And then they go on to talk about the high rate of motor vehicle accidents being due to hundreds of new drivers from overseas being able to drive here without taking the actual road driving test. I'm not sure about that, though, because there are certain jurisdictions where you have to take the test irrespective of the fact that you may have that as well. But if you could comment on the Kamana Bay exit and the roundabout nearest to the what was it they said again?
Well, the Galleria
roundabout.
Yeah. Well, see, thanks again for that. And thank the whoever it was that sent in that message. I just to let them know that I know that we are looking at making some changes in that area, and I do know that I have a paper that I'm carrying forward shortly to do some new gazetting for that area for that roundabout and an additional road in that area there. So in the future, coming down, you'll definitely see some changes that may be happening to that roundabout. The one thing is that I don't want NRA to bite off more than they can chew, because we have so much road work going on right to the minute now that we want to try to close up some of the roads that we have going right to the minute here. And as soon as we get them, then we can start to look at other roads, because, one thing is that you'll find is that we're all over the place doing a lot of road work, but it seems like we're not getting nothing finished. So I just want to make sure that we're knocking off and we're taking roads off this year right now. One of the quick ones that I think that we can actually complete very quickly now is our Godfrey Nixon road out there. The first phase of it has been completed, done in there. We're just on to the last phase of it now, waiting on Lands of Survey just to finish their completion of the.
So this is going out to North Church Street,
that extends out to Eastern Avenue Road out there.
Yes.
Yeah. So as soon as we've passed over to Diaz Lane, so we're right into the government property now, and from there just ready to punch out to the stoplight on Eastern Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
That is a crucial road that really needs to be done, and that will help relieve a lot of the traffic from the waterfront coming around into that Eastern Avenue area there. So it's a road that I want to see completed very quickly. So I've just asked the team to at NRA to let's focus on resolving a lot of these stuff as fast as we can, and then before we start to take on another 2 or 3 roads, and getting the roads that are down towards the Kings up to date, get up there, which actually is going to hit a lot of the lives for the people from that side of the island too. But there are going to be some changes coming forward and at that roundabout, so I can definitely tell the lady that in the future, in the near future here, that she'll see definitely some road works happening there.
One of our listeners, if I may, Minister, had a question about the main Bordentown Road, especially the stretch from the old drive-in theater right through Bordentown. And they point out that they know that several years ago resurfacing of that had been done, but they feel that that is one of the worst stretches of roads in the Eastern District now, as far as the road condition is concerned. Any plans?
The central Bordentown.
Yeah.
I have not seen anything come to my table. I must say, to be truthful, straight up and honest with you, I have not seen anything come to my table about paving the central of Bordentown through. It's something I would ask Mr. Howard to look at to see if it's something that needs to really be done, and get his expert opinion on it. And I guess NRA has the machinery and stuff to do the testing for the road, whether it's friction tests or whether it's there are other machines that they go through to make sure that tells them whether that road has to be done. So I'll ask them to take a look at it for me and give me their opinion on that particular stretch and what it's going to cost to actually do it, because that's the other thing too, is everything comes at a cost to do that, And one thing with that east-west, when the east-west comes in, a lot of that traffic that we know that goes through central Bordentown will probably move around central Bordentown after that. But I mean, that's we're talking maybe another year or two down the road before the traffic is actually be able to move on to the east-west to get around there. But if it's something that is desperately needed, I'll ask my team to take a look at it. Matter of fact, I do a road tour with them on Fridays, so I'll actually bring it up that we actually do a tour through there on Friday to take a look at it and get their opinion on that one.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier about the connector road to the airport. One of our listeners has sent in a WhatsApp message in relation to that. I'm telling them that you mentioned it earlier, but just for their benefit, if you could again mention the continuing work that is taking place there as well.
Yes, I'll see. The ACR is one I've came and found that was just at its very first stages, and I realized how myself too, being in traffic in that area, how important that particular road is, and it is really needed to be put through to relieve that bottleneck traffic that's coming out of Industrial Park, that is clogging up the roundabouts going from Dale Thompson around that area there, and the taxis that will be able to flow, they won't coming and going from the airport will be able to take the ACR and not have to clog that particular roundabout up. So we are in the movements of getting that road completed, and we're going to make sure that road is actually completed this year. Once we start back on it, it's a start to finish job, and getting that one, and that is another one that I would love to have checked off very shortly, and so I am pushing on for that to get completed also.
Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. We know that you have to leave us at 9 o'clock, Minister. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex. Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of this segment of the show with Minister J. Ebanks this morning. We want to thank him for being on the show and giving us a comprehensive review of the work that his ministry is doing based on the subjects that fall under his purview. And of course, they are include housing, agriculture, infrastructure, and planning as well. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning to the minister.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Sure could not go by without I get my first call in too for the year. And I think the minister was very happy to be the first one on there. Well, I'm the first one. I'm happy to be the first one called too.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, I'm listening. And OC, the reason why the minister is mentioning finishing roads that have started or are proposing new roads is because of traffic, right? Because of traffic. I want to ask the minister, nothing to do with the government, just him personally. What is that the only idea that we can come up with to alleviate the traffic is to build roads? What about eliminating or denying all these unnecessary cars that being imported? Because I remember back in the day when we had a similar problem with traffic, we came up with the Linford-Pearson idea, which served. But now, look what happened now with the Linford-Pearson. That is bumper to bumper. The same with the Harkwell bypass. I was told that nobody would drive on that road. No, it's bumper to bumper. So I think that we got to come up with a better idea than just building roads, because we will not be able to build our way out of traffic, especially when the price tag is up to like $5 million per mile for a highway such as Linford-Pearson. So I just want to find out from the minister if he thinks that a dependable ground transportation, work on that, getting that in so that we can move to the point where we can stop importing so much cars and people have an alternative to commute around the island.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Graham. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great.
Happy New Year to you, sir.
Not getting the traffic.
I understand. Mr. Graham, the last time that we actually were in the House, that was something that we spoke about and talked about. And I promised the House that in the first quarter that we were going to bring back our traffic solutions and how we actually deal with the traffic. And yes, I agree with you. It's something that we can't just continue to build roads to get our way out of this. It is, that is not the option. We have to look into banning cars, certain vehicles that are coming into this island. We can't allow the flow of these vehicles that are coming from Japan to continue coming in here. In my personal opinion, and this is my personal opinion, I don't know, if the government will actually take this on or not, but my personal opinion is that I think that certain work permit holders should not even be able to drive on the thing to clog up our system, because it costs us a lot of money to actually be able to maintain it and build these roads to go out there and go from there. But it is something that I am definitely looking into of bringing back to the House, of banning certain vehicles from coming in here by the year and from the certain countries that we look forward. We've actually put a committee together to actually start to look at that, and I'm hoping that my team has everything delivered very shortly. And you're absolutely right, a transportation system is definitely something that really, really needs to be done. I know, especially coming from the eastern side of the island, north side and east end, we have buses that never do our full route. I mean, I must say that there are some that do, but there are some that never do. So we have to look into how we're going to fix that, and how we're going to put in a proper one, but a reliable one, but one that actually has to be able to, from my opinion, my feedback that I've given is that it has to be a system that is going to be able to run 24 hours a day. We have to be able to run it at all night long, because if you want people to be able to get to work at 5 o'clock, he's going to take the transportation system. He has to be able to be relied on that. I can't speak too much about how it's actually going, because that's my colleague, Minister Brian. Portfolio, so I will actually leave that to him, and maybe he'll give an update in the first part of the year now on where he's at with it. But that's just my opinion. But there is looking at banning cars from coming in here.
Okay, all right. I want to thank Lord Graham for that. Have a few more questions here. Try to squeeze them in before you leave, Minister. This person wanted to know about the policy in regards to backyard chicken farming, and they say that they have an immediate person living immediately next door to them, and it is a sight for sore eyes. I would imagine that, it depends on where that person is living. If they're living in a development, I'm sure that there may be what do you call them again?
Restrictions in there. Covenants
in
their area.
In relation to that. If not, it would be something that public health maybe look at.
That'll be something that they would have to get public health to look at to see whether to determine that. And again, it depends on the location that they're in, whether they're in an agriculture sector area of land, or whether they're in a residential area of property. So one thing I've found, OC, is that a lot of people have been building homes in their agriculture land area, and we've had people that have been raising cattle, raising chicken, raising horses in those areas when they came in and they purchased the land. And then as soon as they build their house or something in there, they want to run the people that have been raising their horses or raising their cattle off of the property, and saying that they don't want to deal with that. I mean, we have to put in something in place that is going to protect our people. I mean, I'm just so tired of hearing that the problem is that people go into areas that they know that have been zoned for agriculture, and then they complain about it as soon as they get in and build their what they want to build in that area, because they wanted a large acre of property, and they wanted to be able to grow the fruit trees and stuff like that. They wanted to at the same time, but I know Joe Blow over here, he raised 30 cattle on his property all from before I was there, and then they want to run him off of the property.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You came and you found it there.
Yeah. If you found it there, live with it. If not, you shouldn't have went in there and built from the day one. But again, that'll be something I think that the lady will have to call, or him will have to call public health.
I think Minister Brian is on the phone. He's going to, I guess, talk about the transport part. But before we go there, we just have one listener who has written in, and they say that they run a software company, and they're doing a study on artificial intelligence and traffic mitigation, and they want to know how can they send a proposal to your office. And what we can do is we can do that by WhatsApp. We can send the information to them in terms of how to pass that information on to your office.
Sure,
Let's grab Minister Bryan, because I want to ensure that you're not late for your next appointment. Good morning, Minister. Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Minister Ebanks. Happy New Year. I obviously spoke to my colleague already, so...
Morning, sir.
Morning, and Happy New Year to your listening audience. Before I give a quick comment about the public transportation system, I just want that listener to hear my email address. So I would love to hear that proposal. So it's kenneth.bryan@gov.ky. So I'm happy to see the proposal. As the minister highlighted, I'm under my portfolio is the public transportation system, though the minister is responsible for all the rest of the areas relating to transportation. Public transport, because of the buses, is under my remit. And just to give the country an update on where that is at, the firm Deloitte have been summoned to do a report for us from last year, and that report is expected to be completed at the end of this month to the first week of next month, with recommendations on how we move forward with a government either run or partnered system that is more reliable. The hope and goal is to put in a system that is obviously energy efficient as well as cost effective, that we can help alleviate the problem of traffic. I did hear Lord Graham's viewpoint in respect to restrictions on vehicles, and I think it'd be important that I highlight a point that even if you said today we were going to restrict cars that are anything over 10 years old or 5 years old, restricting those cars don't stop the amount of cars that are currently here. So that would only start to take effect over time as more and more of the current vehicles that are here start to come off the road and no longer working. What we do need to do, though, is get this recommendation from Deloitte as to what to do. Once we accept those recommendations, implement those plans by putting the necessary monies behind it, buying the proper buses, working with either it's going to be a PPP or government fully run, and like the minister highlighted, running 24 hours. Because when we start to say restrictions like work permit holders can't have a driver's license or have a vehicle, if that's what we consider, I'm not sure if that would be agreed upon by everybody, but if that was to be agreed upon, you have to make sure you have a reliable system for people and workers to get to work, get to their entertainment, get to pick up their kids and all these other factors. So we have to deal with the public transportation system first before we take some of those other decisions where we all know we need to do in order to mitigate the traffic problem. So the government at this current moment is waiting for that report from Deloitte. So as soon as that is in, I want to update the country once the caucus and cabinet has looked at the document, see what the recommendations are by this firm. So that's where we are from the area of responsibility that I have. But I must say, the minister is right. There is some key roads that he needs to get the support from all of us in government by way of finances for him to complete. Because some of those roads, though we can't build our way by roads to alleviate the problem, there are some key strategic roads that he needs to get support on from everybody in order to complete, because it would help alleviate some of the traffic woes that we have now. So hopefully that assists your listenership with
all right, Minister, Mr. Bryan, Minister Ebanks is going to be leaving us at 9 o'clock. We're going to go to our headline news. I want to bring him back for 5 minutes just so that he can have some closing comments as well. If you are free, please feel free to call back afterwards, and we can continue to talk with you by telephone if you so wish. Let us know that, and we can continue a conversation with you on other areas in your ministry if you so wish as well.
Well, I was just calling for that. I'd be happy to set up for next week because I want to come on to update the people from a tourism perspective. But okay. God bless you. Happy New Year, Minister. See you soon.
Yep. Excellent. So, Minister, we're going to delay you for about 5 minutes. We're going to take this headline news break. When we return, give you an opportunity for some closing comments. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says on Wednesday a 33-year-old Georgetown man was formally charged with 2 counts of rape in relation to incidents back in October and November. These involved a child under the age of 16. He's set to appear in court today. Police surround protest camps in Brazil after supporters of former far-right leader Jair Bolsonaro stormed government buildings in the capital. Thousands of demonstrators ransacked the Congress building as well as the presidential palace and Supreme Court on Sunday. Hundreds of people have been arrested, and the governor of Brasilia have been suspended for security failings. Bolsonaro lost the presidential election to left-wing Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in October after sowing unsubstantiated claims about voting systems. Many of his supporters have refused to accept the result, and some have been camping outside army buildings around the country calling for military intervention. A Supreme Court judge has now ordered that camps outside the Army's headquarters and at other sites be dismantled. Bolsonaro has denied encouraging Sunday's attack, saying what happened had gone beyond democratic protest. World leaders, including U.S. President Joe Biden, have condemned the riots as an attack on democracy. Those are your headlines. I'm Kersley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio K-Man.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have held the Honorable J. Ebanks for a few more minutes to give him an opportunity for some closing comments. We do know that he has another commitment. So, Minister, over to you.
O.C., thank you for the show. I was hoping that I could spend the whole time with you here today, but as things go along, sometime in government, your calendar gets thrown around. So I'm definitely off to another meeting, but I just want to thank the public for taking the time for engaging with me and listening to us and what we have, the discussion, the dialogue that we've had. O.C., I look forward to, coming back on your show this week again if I can. I'll wait to hear back from you.
Yep, we'll try to work something out.
Get out so that we can continue on the path, because I know we didn't even touch into planning and all the other areas. But I'll see if I can actually arrange to get some of my team out also so that we can speak a little bit more on agriculture too, and give some updates and some little snippets of agriculture show coming up, because there's some big plans for the agriculture show this year. So I'll reach out to the team out there that's been planning that, and maybe they can start to give us an update on what's happening with the show and what their anticipations are this year. I won't get into too much of it yet with them, because I don't want to steal their thunder or anything worth it, but definitely, I'll look out to hear from you whether I can get on which day back with you this week, so we can continue. I do thank the people for giving me the opportunities, especially my people from North Side, give me the opportunity to represent them, and I have out there, and I'm doing my best that I can do for them, and I am always pushing to make sure that we deliver on everything that we have that I've promised them that we're going to get done for them and for the country. So, and one thing I am OC is I am a person that loves to get things accomplished, and I do not mind putting in the time, work, or the framework to whatever it is to get it done. It's just something about that reward of having something accomplished for the people.
Yes.
And that is what I'm here for, is to represent the people of this country, and I continue to move on to that. As I was elected as an independent member, and I want the people to know that I still think as an independent member, and I still act as an independent member when I go forward, when I question certain things and move forward for them, because that's what I was elected as. So thank you again, OC, for having me today. It was a short notice. I know I was supposed to be with you all day, all morning, but I just want to thank the listening public. And as usual, if there's anybody that wants to get hold of me, they can send me an email, they can send me a WhatsApp, and they can give me a telephone call. Usually it's a little bit better to send me a WhatsApp, because it depends on how my days are. I'm so busy, but my number is 916-4249. For anybody that's out there that wants to send me a WhatsApp or anything that I can help them with pertaining to my subjects, just give me a shout and I will pass it on and try to get your stuff sorted out, because I am a fighter for the people, and I believe that we're here to represent our Caymanians and our people. Thank you again, OC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister, for being here as well. Thank you. So we still have some WhatsApp, and I'm going to talk about those. One of our listeners has written it and said, just personally want to endorse what the minister has said yes, strongly refuse the use of driving and owning a vehicle while working here. So please say that it would be one of the greatest moves to make here. Says to help with the overflow of all the vehicles, especially those, coming from Japan. And, I was thinking about it, and of course, there has been talk about the permanent residence and the point system as well. And there were some changes that were made to the legislation last year. And one wonders that maybe within the point system, should we consider on the point system for permanent residents, if you don't own a vehicle, that may assist you in terms of gaining points. We always see the emphasis on the ownership of property, and we know that the unintended consequences that property ownership has created in the Cayman Islands for Caymanians as well. So we wonder whether or not, and just throwing it out there, if you don't own a vehicle in the Cayman Islands, maybe we can give you 2 or 5 points on your application for permanent residence for that. What say ye? Let's hear from you. We will have the phone lines open now to give you, our listening audience, an opportunity for you to chime in, to talk about things that may be of interest to you. You have heard Minister J. Ebanks speak to the fact that we're going to try to accommodate him again during the course of this week to have his department as well on the show with us, and we look forward to that. Meanwhile, this is something, our cyclists, for those of you, Marlon, our cyclist, those of you who don't know him by that name, Marlon Ford is his name, as well. And earlier on the birthday shout-outs, I did wish Mr. Marlon a belated happy birthday. He celebrated his birthday last week as well. Folks, tourism in the Cayman Islands, and we do know that many of you, especially the older Caymanians, know about the personal contacts that they have had with guests, especially those who worked at the various condos and hotels in the Cayman Islands, and people would return to the Cayman Islands year after year, ask for those persons, meet those persons. We have had situations where some persons, foreigners, who were frequent visitors to the Cayman Islands, some maybe even owning property in the Cayman Islands, has offered opportunities to Caymanian families for them to live in their jurisdiction, to attend school in their jurisdiction as well. So those personal contacts are so important. And I just want to mention a cycling friend of ours who has been coming to the Cayman Islands for several years. Those visits were interrupted during COVID. Mr. Greg Alford from Canada, keen cyclist, enjoys Cayman and comes here every year, like I said, except for the break during the COVID pandemic. He's currently back on island, cycling with us. Folks, we can advertise all we want in the media, on television. We can have our tourism agencies throughout the world, throughout the United States, throughout Canada. But there is nothing like that personal contact and people meeting Caymanians, enjoying their stay with Caymanians, and those things make them want to return to the Cayman Islands as well. So again, he told me he would be listening in this morning to the show. Well, yesterday he asked me, do you still do the show? And I said, yes. He said, I will listening tomorrow morning as well. And I'm not doing this just because he may be listening in, but to stress the importance of making a good impression of the Cayman Islands so that those persons who really enjoy it want to return. There is no person more suitably qualified to do that than those of us who were born here, who live here, who have the experience, and from whom the Caymanian kind flows naturally from. We're going to take a commercial break. Miss Susan, do we have a caller? If we have a caller, we will put that caller on hold. If we do, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Cybercrime happens online or through the technology we use every day. Anyone can be a victim of cybercrime, whether you are a young person being bullied or harassed online, or an older person or business who's been scammed out of money or personal data. Cybercrime is an issue that touches all of us. The Cayman Islands government has therefore created an online resource to help keep you cyber safe in an ever-changing world.
In online situations, it is better to be cyber safe than sorry. Learn now to protect yourself against cybercrime. Visit gov.ky/cybersafe.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. Phone lines are open. Still some issues with our toll-free number, and that toll-free number, may I remind you, provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. But if you have a postpaid account, then you can get through. If it's a prepaid account, then you have some issues getting through. But we're working on that as well. And I'm sure that in the year 2023, some improvements will be made to that as well. And maybe Flo can be a little bit more flexible and open it up to all rather than just having postpaid individuals being able to call on that number as well. But we also have our 949-6990. You can also email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261 as well. So one of our listeners have commented in relation to my suggestion that I threw out there, whether or not we should give a few points for non-ownership of a vehicle in the Cayman Islands. I wouldn't want to say not having a driver's license, because sometimes that becomes necessary, as well. But this listener has said, not owning a car or a vehicle for a point system to get PR. The question is, who's going to monitor that? That you don't own a vehicle after you have obtained permanent residence. Just like anything else, the rules are there, but no one to follow up on them to ensure that persons are adhering to those commitments that they have made as well. And we do know that we had issues with that when it came at first to even the ownership of property in the Cayman Islands, where you had situations where you had joint ownerships or multiple ownerships of property several individuals using the same property to be able to qualify for permanent residence. But I'm sure that a lot of those loopholes have now been plugged as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Mr. Moderator, good morning and Happy New Year to you, sir.
Good morning and a Happy New Year to you, sir. And all the best, health, prosperity, good soil for farming, and good feed for your cattle.
Thank you. I want to pick up on a couple of comments you made, and I want to be as brief as I can. But I want to say that.
But take your time as well.
You sound great. You sound energetic, and you sound enthused. So I know you had a good respite over the First of all, on the point what you made about how important it is to have our own Caymanian people greet the tourists. That is the fundamental principle for success in our tourism. And you know, as well as I know, that in the past, that was a great reputation.
Yes, sir.
These people came and the returning guests, and they asked for the persons whom they had met previously. And since we got away from that and began to import more people in the hospitality industry instead of focusing on training and keeping our own people in the industry, we've kind of fallen away from the quality of hospitality that we offered. So your point there is salient and important, and I hope the people who are in positions to do something about it make note of that and try to come back to that old formula. And the second point about offering PR for those people who are willing to give up owning a car, that's a great point. And it's something to be developed. Now, in answer to the person who said, how are we going to monitor it?
Mm-hmm.
In the day of electronic media, we can develop an algorithm, and we can link that up with the Permanent Secretary and Status Board to the licensing board. So if Roy Button comes in and says, all right, I want my 10 points because I have opted not to own a motor car for the next 10 years. If indeed, after that, I try to beat the system by licensing a motor car, immediately it comes up, ping, and it goes to the PR people who are monitoring that, and they say, we just want you to know that this man here, who said he volunteered not to own a car, is now the owner of a car. So you need to do something about it. The only way around that would be to license it in someone else's name. Might be able to get away by doing that,
but there could be some legal drawbacks to that as well, because if you are exposing yourself to some legal issues, if that vehicle is involved in an accident and someone is seriously hurt and will end up suing you. So,
or if you license it in someone else's name and they're dishonest, and you lost your investment.
Yes.
There is that too. So that would be. I think that's a great point. Now I want to say something else, which might not be practical here, but I'll throw it out as food for thought. In Canada, some years ago, when you applied for permanent residency, you didn't have a choice. They told you where they recommended you settle for the first 5 years. And the reason they did that, because all these people were gravitating toward the cities. And they wished to have some balance in the way the population was spread. So they say, okay, you're coming here, Roy Borden, for the first 5 years, then we want you to live in this place rather than you say living in Toronto. We want you to live out here. And that is something else we could consider. So instead of everybody going on the 7 Mile Beach or in the middle of Georgetown, how about moving some people out to other areas in North Side? You get 20 points if you live in North Side, whereas you only get 5 if you're living in Georgetown.
Yep, excellent point as well. Now, Mr. Borden, sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to ask you to give us some comments on the legacy of Nurse Josie Solomon, who unfortunately just passed. I'm going to do some research. I know I came across some stuff in the Nor'Wester magazine as well as in the Trade Winds newspaper, and I want to, give tribute to her at a future date, hopefully this week as well, once I'm able to complete my research. But I want to give you an opportunity to comment on her legacy.
That lady was really, I know sometimes we have a tendency to cliche this word, an icon, but she was an icon. And I don't know how many people knew it, but she pioneered the modern public health service in these islands. She would go, Mr. Connor, she would go from house to house in these areas where people needed education and public health upliftment. She would go, and not only would she administer the medicines, but she would also educate them, lecture them into how to avoid the kinds of problems and pitfalls in the future. And I have a special bond with her, because not only from the fact that in Bordentown, the clans that we come from are all intertwined. So there is some bloodlines there as well. Yeah. But I was studying in Jamaica at the same time she was studying. And I can say this without fail, every week, she was up there a little before I was. Every week she found her way at least once down to Michael Teachers College to visit with me and to talk and to commiserate and to encourage me.
Wow.
So she put herself out of the way. She was then training. It may have been the Kingston Public Hospital where she did her initial training. And she came here, she worked in that, she went away and she got advanced degrees. And she really set the tone. I can't think of anyone who met Nurse Josie and didn't love her.
That's true.
She had that kind of disarming personality. And what many people don't know that I will share now, boy, there weren't too many more Bordentown cooks who cooked more excellently than her. Who cooked more excellently than her. I mean, from Cayman style beef down to heavy cake. She was great. She's one of those persons that can never be replaced. And I, like many others, mourn her loss, but at the same time, cherish her memory and memorialize her deeds. She was a trendsetter and a glorious example of what a Caymanian should be.
Yes, sir. I want to thank you. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Borden, and look forward to conversing with you just as much or more than we did in 2022 in the year 2023 as well, because every year will be more and more challenging for us here in the Cayman Islands, and it is going to be extremely important to hear the words of wisdom from those who have more experience than we have.
I'm going to give you a little heads up. I want to, one of these, in the early new year, God willing, invite yourself, Dr. Steve, and my good friend and former student, up to the Calabash room. I have a special room built on for these kinds of conclaves.
Okay.
So I'm giving you advance notice.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Take care.
God bless you. Have a nice day.
You too, sir. All the best.
Bye.
So, folks, at least I threw something out there, and we're getting some feedback on it as well in relation to points for not owning a vehicle, possibly point for permanent residence. And this person says, OC, big no to that question you just posed about work permit holders applying for permanent residence obtaining points by not owning a vehicle. Many of these people are already outsmarting and finding ways to get through, and this will be another easy route. They'll just have someone else locally purchase the car for them and then use it whenever they want to. And of course, I want to thank the writer for that. But remember, the previous caller, Mr. Borden, we spoke about that as well. And you have to be careful when you are registering a vehicle in your name for someone else, because of course you also have to insure that vehicle in your name, the registrant's name as well. So you are therefore assuming huge responsibilities, legally and otherwise, by so doing. So if anyone were to have the idea of doing that, they, especially the person who's proposing to do it for that individual, then they should give thought to the fact of what are the legal and other implications to registering a vehicle in their name for someone else. So it's extremely important for them to think about that as well. We have another caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning. How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. I'm blessed. What we need in the public transport, right? I went to meeting with Kenneth Bryan already. Ask if we can get senior citizen bus pass free for the senior citizens and the school children. We need that.
And that would be for school children who end up taking public transport as opposed to taking the school buses.
Yes, we need it. To help for the senior citizens and the school children.
And then, but then, how do you propose then that the owners of those vehicles, the drivers who would transport them, how would they then be compensated for that? Would you?
The government, the public transport, and the government to do something for them.
Yeah, but you would have to work out some sort of checks and balances to ensure that the government isn't being charged for passengers who actually don't travel.
No, Kenneth Bryan said the government don't have any money to support that. That is not true. You understand? We can work out something as well, you say, yes? But do something. You know, I don't see no changes in this bus system since them coming forward. No changes. And this year make 3 years now.
And
we need changes.
Okay, and in addition to bus passes for senior citizens and for students, what other changes would you like to see at this point in time? Any others?
The bus need to run their route. They're turning back, and the Ebanks knew about it, Kenneth Bryan knew about it, and they're not doing nothing.
Previous administrations, the same thing happened as well. Or if those persons who were monitoring it, they knew exactly where they were positioned, and they would ensure at least that they go past that point where they were positioned. Let's say, for instance, if those officers were at the Frank Sound Junction, then they went beyond the Frank Sound Junction, but at some point in time they turned around, as well. What about having monitors on the vehicle so that you can see exactly where they have traveled to? Would you as a driver agree to that?
Yes, I'm agree for that.
And
the 24-hour system where you guys trying to put in place, you need buses really. I do the 3:30 run every morning, and people have to reach at work 4 o'clock. The chef them, the hotel have to reach work 4 o'clock. We need more buses.
Okay.
To the east end side and north side.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure that you'll be listening in when Minister Bryan is on the show as well, and we would welcome some feedback from you also. We have another caller, but we have to go to a commercial break. And just before we go there, this person says persons have open insurance policies all the time, which allows anyone over a certain age, in some cases, to drive their vehicle. But that does not absolve the insurer from legal responsibility. So, yes, I may have my vehicle insured, and I say that any driver over the age of 25 can drive that vehicle, but I am still the insured person. I am the person with legal liability as well. So bear that in mind. Let's take the commercial break. Caller, hang in there. As soon as we return, we will take your call. Please stay tuned.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record, and a Happy New Year to you.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning.
Good morning, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And all the staff at Radio Cayman and all the listeners. All right, I have a little idea. I just want to bring it on your show and then see what kind of feedback we get. But
sure.
every week, well, it goes on forever because of the cycle of life. But in recent times, every week now we have an icon or a well-known Caymanian that passes on, and I'm wondering if it would be a good idea to utilize the district town halls that we have a bit more by having probably at the beginning a small marble plaque put on the walls of these town halls with the person's name and date of birth and also date of death. But also, in addition to that, because all of the town halls now, and if not, they can be equipped. But I mean, I think the town halls need to be utilized a bit more than what they are. But if it would be possible then to have a computer database that the families would then be able to upload information of that person, the history, and all the deeds and stuff that they did, the good deeds, which would also come in handy at the time that there's any government National Heroes Day that has awards fitting that category. They would have a database already within the computer system, which they could keep building on. The family could keep adding to it from time to time to keep it, because they might forget something when they first went in, but it would be a living memory, as it were, to that person that would be corrected and added on to as time goes on. But it would encourage people to utilize the town halls, or if it's not town hall, then they are the public libraries. But within each of the districts that person would have resided in, and create a sort of historical record that. In addition to the plaque on the wall, but what I'm trying to thaw out is there a way of putting these people's names in a place where they will always have a focus and a a sort of prominent place where people can actually remember them and for us posterity, and also, you know, whoever wants to go into the database to look at more information, then they could go to the computer within that library or town hall and do some actual research on that person. But it would certainly come in handy at awards time, where, you know, you wouldn't have to then be scrounging around looking for information to actually recommend somebody. You could just, you know, get it from that same database that would have been built up by the family. Just an idea.
No, it's a excellent idea, and I mean we have almost a starting point for it, because right now when the nominations for like for instance the seafarers and things of that nature, while the information that they require may be limited,
right.
You know, that some of that information is already there, so you could establish something like that based on what you already have for people to add to that.
Right. And that's so that's what I thought about, because I mean we have Miss Josie now, you know, this is I mean every day, every week we're finding you know, people of great significance, historical significance passing on, and I'm trying to find a way of how we could, you know, keep their names at the forefront, and I think that their respective district town halls or libraries could be further utilized by keeping a sort of historical record within those edifices that could be updated by the families, and then further utilized to keep their history up to date, and at the forefront of a Caymanian sort of curiosity. But it's just an idea that I had, and I thought I'd bring it on your show and then see what kind of feedback we might get. But I'm glad that you had some ideas as well, because you know, it's just sad to see. You know, as I said at the outset, it's a circle of life, but it's so sad to see these people passing on. But then we don't really keep them. We don't, you know, we just tend to forget about the history. And we could kind of keep it more alive by having a database where not only that family but others who have passed on could be kept up to date.
Okay, and I would suggest that you pass your information on either to the Cabinet Office or for the Ministry with responsibility for culture, because I believe that would be an excellent project for someone to embark upon.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I will do that, Mr. Connor.
Okay.
And also thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for the suggestion as well. So I just want to go back to Mr. Borden, because he, in that public invitation that he has extended to me and to Alan Moore and to Dr. Steve McPhail, this person says, please ask Mr. Borden, is there any issue why only 4 of you guys that he's inviting to have a real Caymanian hoedown? Because the person says that they would like to invite themselves too, and that is an Aquarian sister, and of course her birthday is coming up soon, you know, as well. But that is excellent, and it may be a start of things to come, you know, when Mr. Roy Borden may extend this to others. I want to also remind you that Mr. Rennie Barnes, you know, has a program in place where I'm trying to remember now. It's the first. I have to remember what Saturday it is, but at his place on Barnes Road, where Caymanians get together, share some cuisine, as well as stories, and, you know, have a good Caymanian get together, you know, as well. And if you want more information about that, we can certainly get that. We'll have Mr. Rennie Barnes talk more about his initiative that has become extremely popular as well. So I want to thank him for that. Those of you, And I do realize that from the 16th of December of 2022, For the Record was not on the air. And when we try to provide as accurate information as possible, we try to do as much research as possible as well. And on another platform, someone was talking about the visa requirements for Jamaican nationals to be able to enter the Cayman Islands. And they ascribed the introduction of the visa requirements for Jamaicans to the government that was headed up by the Honorable W. McKeever Bush. And while those remarks were not made on a Radio Cayman show, I just like for those persons who may have heard it to publicly point out that it was the progressive government that introduced the visa requirements for Jamaica, not the government headed up by Mr. Bush. It was introduced, and the governor at that time was Governor Duncan Taylor. When requests were made to either remove the requirements or in some fashion restrict it, and there were some changes that were made where any applicants younger than 15 and older than 70 would not require a visa coming from Jamaican nationals to the Cayman Islands. And while they did acquiesce to a request and allowed that, the governor cited national security reasons for keeping the visa requirements in place. And I just want to clarify that that was the progressive government, not the government headed up by the Honorable W. McKeever Bush, at that point in time. So, like I said, the statement wasn't made on a Radio Cayman show, but I heard it and I wanted to correct that. There was also a statement that was made in relation to the issuance of passports, and the idea was put across by a caller that the reasons why we are unable to issue Cayman passports or British Overseas Territories passports for the Cayman Islands here was because the government was not prepared to invest in the technology that was required by the British government to be able to do so. That also is incorrect. And I will talk more about that when we return from this commercial break, because I believe that it is important for those persons who may have heard it to get the correct information in that regard. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
J and Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at J and Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any J and Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable J and Money. J and Money, touching down again. J and Money, ranga to la friend.
So much happening, so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers on hold. We're going to try to accommodate to both callers before the end of the show. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year
Thank
to
you.
And welcome back. I think that there are two little sayings that are quite appropriate this morning with my call. And, the first one would be, when you throw a spoon in a pig pen, no one that squeals when I got in.
Yep.
So I think the pig might be squealing. Anyway, and the other one was, as part of that, was a good segue, actually, to what the topic was.
Mm-hmm.
And it really wasn't about the Jamaica visa. It was about the grant of the U.S. visa to Cayman Island citizens and the mess that is, and the fact that our government needs to consider having the U.S. consulate or whatever they call themselves come back here like they used to do back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will maintain it is not an impossible task. It's just that no one has seen it as important because obviously they don't have to deal with the problems and go through the expense that the rest of us little peasants have to do. And also the information that was given out about who was actually the government at the time, I did correct that information.
Okay, thank you.
And just to say...
And that was in 2005 that it was introduced, actually.
That's right. It was after Hurricane Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
And also that I want to say here on your show that, beating down the Jamaican government about them reciprocating it, my question is, what did they think was going to happen? That's one question. And the second question I have, and I'll leave that one hanging or lying anywhere, did it cut down on criminals coming to the island? We just deported one from here for murder.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
But I couldn't find anything on the. Were you able to see that on any of the Jamaican newspapers?
I actually read it on Loop, I believe, and I don't quote me on this, but I want to say that the Observer had a story on it.
Okay.
It could have been, like I said, it was one of them, but I first saw it on Loop. And then, of course, automatically then, I'm going to look for the article in the Jamaica papers. And but if you don't find it, I can contact someone and ask them and let you know who in Jamaica covered the story.
Okay, great. Certainly appreciate that. Now, on the U.S. visa situation, and, we realize that we can't really dictate to the U.S. what they do. And when I forget which administration it was where there was sort of like the cutting of funding for their various embassies and everything. But what is important in terms of trying to reestablish this is to have almost a personal relationship with the U.S. ambassador in Kingston, Jamaica. We need to invite that person here wine and dine them for a certain extent, but also present our case to them and see what advice that they can give in relation to how can we go about getting at least some semblance of the service that we used to get before without having to travel to Jamaica to do so. I believe, I'm not saying that efforts aren't being made, but I believe that we have to try various avenues. And when we do find a situation where we know that the U.S. is relying on us for some cooperation, that may be the time for us to interject and say, well, the quid pro quo, what can you do, for us? Huh?
Well, Mr. Connor, let me just say that I do not think any efforts are being made to get this done, okay? Because this has been going back several administrations, not this one, not the one before, not the one before. And this is a matter that has been brought up several times. It has been written. People have been written to about it several times. Nothing is being done simply because it affects Caymanians. So that's not a priority. Everybody else has an office they can run to, and they can be serviced. They don't have to get up and go anywhere. And I will maintain that if Mr. Orman Panton, our national hero, back in the 60s, could negotiate with the Senate in the U.S. to allow us to get that waiver, something that a lot of people enjoy, and they don't even know how it came about. And we had a population then of what 15,000? If he could have gotten that done for us then, no one will ever convince me, now that we got over 100,000 people here, that we cannot now have an embassy. Or, like I said, it don't have to be 365, but it could be quarterly.
Yeah, but bear in mind now we had a strong argument then because it was really intended to assist seamen who were traveling either to the U.S. to join vessels or were transiting the U.S. to go to other jurisdictions to join as well.
And you know what? We have a much stronger argument now. But it was for seamen and for merchants back then. And we have a stronger argument now. A lot of people travel to the U.S. for health reasons. And we still have merchants who go to the U.S.
Yeah.
We have much stronger argument now. Plus, we now have a multiplied population.
Right.
So we can't be told we don't have the population.
Yeah.
The Bahamas had theirs long before they reached, 70,000? And they still have theirs.
Plus, they have pre-clearance for immigration there as well.
Thank you
Now,
very
maybe
much.
one of the things that one of the the carrots that we should offer, maybe if we assume some financial responsibility for the cost of them coming here, whether or not that would suffice as well. Caller, I'm going to ask you to leave us there. I want to grab the other caller before 10 o'clock, but thank you very much for that. And I know you will continue to listen and that you will continue to contribute as well. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank
too.
you.
My call had dropped, so I can't call
Okay.
back. I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's wonderful to hear you on again. I know you don't have much time, but here now left show up today. But yes, that lady was correct in certain things she was saying. I think Mr. Panton got that for us in 1948. I think that's when it was first granted, that visa waiver thing. But you can check that.
I will.
Yes. And it was a very long time ago. And also, U.S. ambassadors have been here. I don't know whether they were wined or dined. I personally toured one through Pedro, a very nice lady. She was a U.S. ambassador from Jamaica, and I had a long time talking with her and all that. So I don't know if any of our officials happened to meet her and talk with her. I'm sure they did, but for a while, because that's a very powerful position, and it is also very important. A powerful country. But that was about 10 years ago, I believe. I'm trying to get the time right, maybe less than that. It is probably less than that. And also the Canadian ambassador that's in Jamaica, I also had the privilege of spending quite a while with him, and pictures of myself talking with him. And that can be done, but it takes the word that I often use, and I'm going to use it a lot this year. I'm privileged to that word, courage. That's all it takes. It's courage with our elected representatives to solve the traffic problem and the economic problem. We know it takes courage. Some people will have to understand. Things will have to be done. Some will like it, some won't. But it has to be done. And this business of holding referendums for everything, I don't believe in that. I used that one time, but I was wrong. No, I was called a referendum man. But I'm absolutely certain we don't need to be doing that. Our elected representatives can very well make these decisions. It's an expensive and time process. It takes a lot of time before you get something done. The issue might not be important anymore. I don't think we should be only two things I would hold referendum for was, number one, if we decided that they want to move towards a politically independent country.
And that's a requirement in our Constitution. That has to.
It would have to be. And the other thing would be if they were to move Christianity completely from our society or our schools. That would have to be by referendum.
And we shouldn't. I don't believe that politicians should put to referendum those issues that they don't want to make decisions on, because sometimes people wonder whether or not that is the case. Well, the hard decisions, let's pass it on to the people. We can always say they either agreed or disagreed.
No, I agree with you. It takes away their responsibility. Just quickly to say that I don't think that people on work permits should be able to import a car. I think it's wrong. We have car dealerships here who spend a lot of money for their licenses, insurances, and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let them import cars, and even that should be some restriction on that, because what are we going to do? We're going to fill the island with cars and have the roads like that caller said, building roads to suffice it. And it can't work. You can only put so much sand in a shoebox. But I don't think so, because the moment you do this, you're giving them carte blanche to be a car retail car.
And then you see them on the side of the roads with the for sale signs on them. Yes.
Yes, but and that is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It can be done. It just takes courage to say no. This is the end of that. Right now, other countries do it. We're not talking about not giving you a driver's license, not being able to drive, but you cannot import a car. Importation is different from owning. There are thousands of cars here for sale every year, and many of them great shape. And you have the rent-a-car agencies, which are the best service cars on the whole. You're going to buy a used car, and you have these same car importers. Cars who.
We've lost that caller there, but that's want to thank that caller as well. He drifted off. Want to thank that caller. Just before we close off, seniors with Mr. Barnes, Mr. Rennie Barnes. It is the first Saturday of each month, and the first one will be held on the 4th of February, Saturday, the 4th of February 2023. That is Seniors with Mr. Barnes. Also, one of our listeners reminded us that the startup of the 2004 Old Friends Reunion, which took place every year. It was hosted by 3 persons in West Bay, came with 3 West Bay Caymanian ladies. The last get-together was in 2014. The person says that they lost a lot of Caymanians during those years, and we had a funeral of one of the participants, and at his funeral, they were the most Caymanians that they'd ever seen in one place since then. Everybody was saying that this is the only time we get to see each other. What a shame, especially in this small island. So, yes, we want to get together. What else did they tell us? They say there's a small cruise ship which goes up to the Brac, and they see one crossing West Bay now, a small cruise ship. I don't know if the cruises, I don't think that they have resumed to the Brac yet, whether or not. That would be a question that we could ask the minister when he comes in as well. And this caller says that writer says that they would like to endorse the comments from the last female caller as well. I want to thank all of you who participated this morning. It was great to be back. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk today. And before I say, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. I just want to point out that one of my 2023 resolution is to identify a needy person, someone who is really, really in need, who does not have family members who should be or are supporting them, and in some way try to assist them in whatever way that I can. And I would ask each and every one of you who are within the range of my voice to please do the same as well. Find someone who, whether it's just making a phone call, sitting down with and talking, taking something nice to them that may help them with their health or their mental situation, just to show your concern. And if each of us can identify one person who falls into that category, then it will go a long way. Folks, have a great day. God bless.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-606.